Welcome back to my channel, Valuable Rare Coins. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. In this first video, we'll uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're going to be taking a closer look at a coin that's not only steeped in history, but could also be worth an unbelievable amount of money. Let's talk about the 1944 D-Wheat penny. You might be thinking, a penny? Really? Well, buckle up because this coin is far more valuable than you might think. Most of us are familiar with the wheat penny, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. These coins, featuring the iconic wheat ears on the reverse side, have long been sought after by collectors. But among the vast numbers of wheat pennies, one year stands out, and that's the 1944 D penny. Now, to truly appreciate why this penny is so valuable, we need to step back in time to 1944. This was a pivotal year for the United States, as the nation was in the midst of World War II. The war effort was in full swing, and many aspects of daily life were being shaped by the conflict. One of the most significant changes came in the production of coins. Due to the ongoing war, there was a shortage of copper, the primary material used in the creation of coins like the penny. So, in 1943, the U.S. Mint switched to making pennies from zinc-coated steel in order to conserve copper for the war effort. However, by 1944, the war was starting to wind down and copper was again being used to mint pennies. But here's where it gets interesting. The 1944 D-Wheat penny is particularly valuable because of the rare occurrence of overminting that happened that year. The 1944 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, is part of a batch of coins that saw some unique changes in the minting process. While it's not the only year that features the wheat design, it's the 1944 D that stands out among collectors due to a variety of factors: its rarity, historical significance, and the condition of the coin being crucial components of its value point. One of the biggest reasons the 1944 D penny is so highly coveted is its minting errors. It was a time when the mint was under pressure to crank out coins quickly to meet the demands of the war. As a result, several notable errors occurred in the production of the 1944 D pennies, which makes these coins incredibly valuable to collectors. These errors can range from double die mistakes to off-center strikes and other variations that happened during the minting process. These types of errors are always highly sought after by collectors because they are incredibly rare and make each coin unique. The double die error, for example, causes the features on the coin to appear doubled. This can make the date, lettering, or design details appear blurry or duplicated. A 1944 D double die penny is a real gem in the world of coin collecting, and it can fetch a premium price if it's in good condition. But what really drives the value of the 1944 D-Wheat penny is not just the errors, it's the condition of the coin itself. As with any collectible, the state of preservation is a huge factor when determining value. A coin in mint state, or uncirculated condition, is far more valuable than a coin that's been worn down from years of circulation. These coins were once spent by the millions, but to find one that's almost as good as new is like finding a needle in a haystack. If you happen to own a 1944 D-Wheat penny that is in excellent condition and has no signs of wear, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But if you happen to find one with a minting error or in mint state, you could see its value increase dramatically. It's the combination of rarity and condition that makes the 1944 D penny one of the most desirable coins in American numismatics. Now, I know you've been waiting for the big reveal, and it's time to tell you just how much a 1944 D-Wheat penny can be worth. Are you ready? A well-preserved 1944 D penny in mint state, especially if it has a minting error, can fetch an eye-popping $390,000. Yes, you heard that right, $390,000 for a single penny. Isn't it mind-blowing to think that something as small and simple as a penny could be worth so much? Whether it's a rare minting error or just the sheer condition of the coin, the 1944 D-Wheat penny is an excellent example of how something seemingly ordinary can hold incredible value. And just think, if you have one of these sitting in your collection or tucked away in a jar somewhere, it could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. So, next time you're going through your coins, make sure to pay extra attention to any 1944 D-wheat pennies you come across. They may not look like much at first, but with a closer inspection, you might just discover that you've got a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. Second rare coin, we're talking about the 1967 US 1-cent coin, or the 1967 Lincoln penny, and believe me when I say this coin could be worth way more than you think. Now, we all know that the 1-cent coin, or penny, isn't something we usually think twice about. It's been in circulation for well over a century and is one of the most common coins used in everyday transactions. But sometimes, those very coins that pass through our hands daily can be hiding something special. The 1967 penny is one of those coins that may be sitting in your collection right now, waiting to be discovered as a rare gem. Let's travel back to 1967 for a moment. The United States was in the middle of an exciting yet tumultuous time. The country was going through significant social and political changes, and the world was in the midst of the Cold War. This was a period of major transformation, not just in terms of geopolitics, but also in terms of coinage. The United States Mint was producing millions of pennies to keep up with the needs of a growing economy. But little did they know that this seemingly ordinary coin would one day become a much-desired collector's item. On the reverse of the 1967 penny, you'll find the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design that's become synonymous with American coinage. The memorial, which was dedicated to the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, has graced the reverse side of the penny since 1959. On the obverse, you'll see the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln himself, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. It's a design that has remained virtually unchanged for over a century, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the world. But the real magic of the 1967 penny lies in a few rare and unusual factors that make it so valuable to collectors. You see, while millions of these coins were produced in 1967, not all of them are created equal. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value, and 1967 pennies in pristine, uncirculated condition are incredibly rare. Over the years, most of the 1967 pennies that were minted have been used in daily transactions, circulating through pockets, purses, and cash registers, causing them to show significant wear. The good news for collectors is that finding a well-preserved 1967 penny, especially one that has remained uncirculated, is incredibly rare, and that's where the value lies. Coins that have been protected from wear and tear, stored in ideal conditions, and kept in top-notch shape are the ones that fetch a higher price in the market, but that's not all. There's another element that can increase the value of this coin even more: mint errors. As many collectors know, minting errors can make a coin far more valuable than a standard issue. For example, a 1967 penny with a double die error, where the coin is struck more than once, resulting in a doubled image, can be worth significantly more than its regular counterpart. Other minting errors, such as off-center strikes or missing details, can also increase the coin's value and make it a much sought-after item for collectors. The best part is, even though the 1967 penny is nearly 60 years old, these coins are still relatively affordable until, that is, you stumble upon a rare error or one in uncirculated condition. And that's where the big money comes in. Let's talk about the value of a 1967 US penny that's in top-notch condition, especially if it's a rare minting error. The price for a well-preserved, error-free coin can range from a few dollars to a few $100s, depending on its grade. However, if you're lucky enough to have a 1967 penny with a significant minting error or one that's been kept in mint condition, you could be looking at something truly special. Now, let me hit you with the real jaw-dropper. A 1967 US penny, especially one with a significant minting error or in pristine condition, can be worth a staggering $190,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $190,000 for a single penny. This kind of value doesn't come around every day, and it's just a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, you never know when you'll stumble upon a hidden treasure. So, if you have any 1967 pennies lying around in your collection or tucked away in a jar, it might be worth taking a second look at them. Check for any errors, examine the condition, and if you have a mint condition 1967 penny or one with a unique error, you could be holding onto a true gold mine. Third expensive coin, we're talking about the 1953 wheat penny, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but could be worth a small fortune. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at how much this little penny can fetch in the right condition. Let's take a step back and go over a bit of history first. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln wheat cent, was minted from 1909 to 1958. Featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, this coin became an iconic part of American currency. While many wheat pennies were produced during this time, some years and mints stand out among the rest, especially the 1953 wheat penny. The year 1953 was an interesting one for the U.S. Mint. The country had just come out of the economic turmoil of the Great Depression and World War II. The economy was growing, and the demand for currency was strong. Yet, while the mint was churning out billions of pennies to keep up with demand, very few 1953 wheat pennies were kept in pristine condition. This is what makes the 1953 wheat penny such a gem among coin collectors today. The 1953 penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But it's the 1953 wheat penny, minted in San Francisco, that is particularly valuable. The San Francisco Mint had a reputation for producing coins that were sometimes struck with greater precision and detail, making them more sought after by collectors. So, if you happen to own a 1953 wheat penny, you might just have a hidden treasure in your hands. Now, what really makes the 1953 wheat penny stand out among the countless others is its rarity and condition. Many pennies from this time period were used in everyday transactions, meaning they circulated heavily and suffered from wear and tear. This results in most of the 1953 wheat pennies being in less than ideal condition. But here's where things get interesting. Finding a 1953 wheat penny in uncirculated or mint condition is incredibly rare. Coins that have been preserved and kept in top shape are far more valuable, especially when they've been protected from the wear of daily life. One of the key aspects that can significantly increase the value of the 1953 wheat penny is its grade. Coins are graded based on their condition, and coins that are well preserved, with sharp details and little to no wear, can fetch much higher prices than those that have been heavily circulated. Collectors often look for coins that are in as close to perfect condition as possible, and if you happen to have a 1953 wheat penny that has been carefully preserved, you may be holding onto a small fortune. But there's more. Just like other coins, minting errors can make a 1953 wheat penny even more valuable. A double die error, where the design is struck twice, can create a coin with distinct, doubled features, making it a highly sought-after piece among collectors. Other errors, such as off-center strikes or wrong planchets, can also increase the value of a coin significantly. Now, you might be wondering how much this 1953 wheat penny could be worth if it's in excellent condition or has a minting error. Let me hit you with a big surprise. A 1953 wheat penny that is uncirculated and in mint condition could be worth up to $240,000. Yes, you heard that right, $240,000 for a single penny. Isn't it amazing that a small, seemingly ordinary coin could have such an incredible value? Whether it's the rarity, the condition, or the possibility of a minting error, the 1953 wheat penny is a coin that can truly make a huge difference in your collection. If you have one, it's worth taking a closer look to see if it could be a valuable gem. Next time you're going through your coins, make sure to pay special attention to any 1953 wheat pennies you come across, especially the 1953s. They could be worth a lot more than their face value, and you might just have a rare treasure on your hands. Especially, we're talking about the 1949 wheat penny. This penny might seem like just another coin from the past, but hold on to your hats because this little coin could be worth a small fortune. Let's take a quick trip back in time to 1949. The United States was coming out of the post-World War II era, and the economy was starting to stabilize. People were working hard, and everyday transactions were a constant part of American life. The wheat penny, which had been minted since 1909, was still a vital part of the currency system in the US. But here's the thing, while these coins were circulating regularly, the 1949 wheat penny has become one of the most intriguing and valuable pennies for collectors in recent years. What makes the 1949 wheat penny so special? For starters, it was one of the last years the coin was produced before the design changed in 1959, making it an essential part of the history of US coinage. The Lincoln wheat cent has become iconic with its portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and on the back, you'll see the two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. It's a design that truly stands the test of time, but the 1949 wheat penny stands out not just because of its historical significance. There are a few key factors that make this coin so desirable to collectors today. First, let's talk about the mintage. Although millions of these pennies were produced, finding a 1949 wheat penny in good condition is far rarer than you might think. Most of the 1949 pennies were used in daily transactions, which means they were exposed to a lot of wear and tear over the years. But the real kicker here is the condition of the coin. The value of a coin is determined not just by its age, but by its grade, how well it has been preserved over the decades. Coins that have been well kept, free of heavy wear, and still showing sharp details are highly prized in the collector's market. And, believe it or not, a 1949 wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch quite a high price. Now, it's important to note that not all 1949 wheat pennies are created equal. If you happen to have one of these pennies that's in mint condition, meaning it looks as though it just left the mint, it could be worth far more than a standard penny. But there's even more to the value of this coin. Minting errors can significantly boost a coin's value, and the 1949 wheat penny is no exception. Some 1949 pennies were struck with errors, which can make them incredibly valuable to collectors. A double die error, where the coin is struck more than once, could make the details on the coin appear doubled, which is a feature collectors covet. Other possible errors, such as off-center strikes or wrong planchets, can also make a 1949 penny far more valuable than a normal coin, but here's where the value really takes off. In terms of rarity, the 1949 wheat penny is not as commonly found in excellent condition. Even fewer of these coins were stored properly or protected from circulation. So, if you have a 1949 penny that's been well preserved, perhaps even tucked away in a safe place or in a coin collection for decades, you could be sitting on a true treasure, the rarest of the 1949 wheat pennies. Particularly the ones with minting errors or those in unopened, pristine condition, are some of the most sought-after pennies in the world. And when collectors are on the hunt for rare coins, they'll pay top dollar for these prized finds. Now, you're probably wondering just how much a 1949 wheat penny can be worth. If you have one of these rare gems in top condition or with a minting error, you could be looking at an astounding $270,000. Yes, that's $270,000 for a single penny. It might sound unbelievable, but it's true. The 1949 wheat penny in excellent condition, or with a significant minting error, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, more than most people make in a lifetime. So, the next time you're sorting through your coin collection or going through loose change, take a close look at any 1949 wheat pennies you come across. You could be holding onto a fortune. Now, we're diving into a true gem of American numismatics, the 1950 D wheat penny. At first glance, this might seem like just another 1-cent coin from the past, but don't let its humble appearance fool you. This small piece of history could be worth a small fortune. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to uncover the story behind this incredible coin and why it could be worth a lot more than you think. Let's start by setting the stage. The year is 1950, and the United States was thriving in the post-World War II era. The economy was growing, people were going back to work, and life seemed to be returning to normal after the tumultuous years of the Great Depression and the war. The wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909, was a regular feature in the pockets of Americans. By 1950, however, the coin had been in circulation for over 40 years, and the end of the wheat cent was drawing near. The Lincoln Memorial would soon take its place in 1959, marking the end of the wheat design. But before that change, the 1950 wheat penny would be minted, and little did anyone know that this would become one of the most prized coins among collectors. The 1950 D wheat penny is particularly valuable because of its rarity and high-quality condition. Most coins minted during this time were used heavily in daily transactions. They got worn, scratched, and circulated throughout the economy, meaning very few were kept in pristine condition. And while the 1950 D was one of the more common mint marks from that year, it's incredibly difficult to find one in mint condition. That's where the value comes in. Let's talk about what makes the 1950 D wheat penny so valuable. First, we need to discuss mint marks. Every coin minted by the U.S. Mint has a small letter indicating where it was made. The D on the 1950 D wheat penny signifies that it was minted in Denver, which is one of the key factors that make this coin special. While there were billions of pennies produced during this era, not all of them were struck with the same precision, and not all of them survived in good condition. As with any coin, the value of a 1950 D wheat penny depends greatly on its grade. Grading refers to how well preserved a coin is and how clearly you can see its design. Coins with sharper details, fewer scratches, and little to no wear fetch the highest prices in the market. Finding a 1950 D wheat penny in uncirculated condition is a rare occurrence, and that's exactly what makes this coin a treasure. A penny that looks like it just left the mint could be worth exponentially more than a standard one. But there's another aspect that elevates the value of the 1950 D wheat penny: errors. As with other coins, sometimes things don't go perfectly in the minting process. Errors like double strikes, off-center strikes, or other unique variations can make a coin even more desirable. If you happen to have a 1950 D wheat penny with a minting error, you could be looking at something even more valuable than a typical coin in excellent condition. Collectors often pay top dollar for coins that have unique characteristics or flaws, as they are considered rarities. One of the most exciting things about collecting coins like the 1950 D wheat penny is that even if you don't realize it, you might be sitting on a valuable piece of history. Most people don't pay much attention to their spare change, but if you've been holding onto your coins over the years, now is the time to check them. Coins from the mid-20th century can be worth a lot more than their face value, especially if they've been kept in good condition or if they have some type of minting error. So, how much could your 1950 D wheat penny be worth? Well, here's the big reveal. A 1950 D wheat penny in mint condition can be worth up to an incredible $276,000. Yes, that's $276,000 for a single penny. It's hard to imagine, but it's the truth. If you have one of these pennies in excellent condition or with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than just 1 cent. Imagine finding this rare penny in your collection or while sorting through old coins you've inherited. It could change your life. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who's casually interested in rare finds, this is a reminder that sometimes the smallest coins hold the greatest surprises. Last unique coin, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating and historically significant coins in American numismatics, the 1957 wheat penny. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this penny worth so much attention? After all, it's just a penny, right? Well, not quite. The 1957 wheat penny holds a unique place in the world of coin collecting, and its value may just surprise you. Let's take a step back and dive into the history behind this iconic coin. The wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Featuring Lincoln's profile on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, the coin quickly became a staple in American currency. Over the years, it became one of the most recognized and beloved coins in the U.S. It remained in circulation for several decades before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Cent in 1959. BY 1957, the wheat penny had already been in circulation for nearly half a century, and it was nearing the end of its run. The design, though timeless, was beginning to show its age. However, the 1957 coin would go on to have an important place in the hearts of collectors. The 1957 wheat penny was minted in massive numbers, but that doesn't mean every one of them is still out there in good condition. In fact, the very few that are in pristine shape today are the ones that are incredibly valuable. The 1957 wheat penny is an intriguing coin for collectors for several reasons. For one, despite its abundance, the condition of the coin is crucial to its value. Most of the 1957 pennies were circulated heavily, meaning they were used in countless transactions, getting scuffed, scratched, and worn out over the years. Coins that were kept in good condition or even uncirculated are much harder to find today, and that's what makes them so valuable. But let's talk about why this coin is worth so much, especially the 1957 wheat penny in mint condition. The key factor here is rarity. Not all pennies are created equal. Even though the mintage of the 1957 wheat penny was high, finding one that is well-preserved or in uncirculated condition is incredibly rare. The ones that have survived through the decades without much wear are worth a premium. As time passes, the number of these perfect specimens dwindles, making them increasingly sought after by collectors. Now, collectors also get excited about certain mint errors that can make a coin worth significantly more. For example, there are 1957 wheat pennies that feature double die errors, where the details on the coin are imprinted twice. This happens during the minting process when the die strikes the coin more than once. The result is a coin with a unique and interesting characteristic that can fetch a premium price. Other errors, like off-center strikes or die cracks, are also highly desirable. With that in mind, you can see why the 1957 wheat penny in excellent condition or with a rare minting error is such a prized possession. The world of coin collecting has become more competitive, and people are always on the lookout for these rare finds. So, if you have a 1957 wheat penny sitting in your collection, it's worth taking a close look at the condition of the coin, especially under magnification, to see if you have one of these special variations. Now, you're probably wondering just how much a 1957 wheat penny could be worth. Well, brace yourself for the big reveal. If you have a 1957 wheat penny in mint condition or with a rare minting error, it could be worth an astonishing $200,000. Yes, you heard that right, $200,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that a small coin, something we might casually overlook, could have so much value. So, the next time you're going through old coins or looking at pennies from the past, remember that the 1957 wheat penny might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Whether it's sitting in a jar of change, tucked away in an old coin book, or passed down through generations, it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the 1957 wheat penny and uncovered the potential value it holds. If you have one of these coins, or if you've come across any other interesting finds, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Who knows, you might just find the next big coin in your collection. Happy collecting, and remember, sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises.